How many times has a single word or a disrespectful glance been enough to make you lose control? You slam the table, you yell, and a few minutes later you look back and see only a weak person because you let someone else control your mind. Does that sound familiar? The truth is, anger doesn't make you stronger. It turns you into a slave to other people's words, a slave to cheap provocation. But a Stoic is different. They don't react in chaos. They stand firm like a warrior in a storm. And in this video, I'll show you how to turn your mind into a fortress, a place no one and no insult can penetrate. These aren't some distant theories. These are principles that have been tested for 2,000 years, and if you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll have 7 powerful tools to maintain your inner peace in any situation, from minor annoyances to major conflicts. From this moment on, you will no longer let anyone push your buttons and control your emotions. You are the one holding the reins. And that journey starts from a seemingly harmless root, yet it's the spark for almost every angry outburst. It's judgment. Number 1. Stop judging others. Take a moment to observe yourself throughout a single day. A colleague offers blunt feedback in a meeting. It's not necessarily because they want to undermine you, but you immediately label them. He looks down on me. A friend doesn't reply to your text and you instantly think, they don't respect me. A driver cuts you off and you grip the steering wheel, your mind roaring, he's trying to provoke me. These judgments form quickly, and it's them, not the events themselves, that are the spark for your anger. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Stoics understood that events are inherently neutral. It's the story you construct in your mind that labels the event as negative. If you remove that label, the event is just an event. A colleague's sharp comment is simply a different opinion. A friend who hasn't replied may just be busy. The driver who cut you off might be rushing a loved one to the hospital. When you stop judging, you reclaim the freedom of your mind. You are no longer a slave to the assumptions you create yourself. A Stoic chooses to observe neutrally. Instead of jumping to conclusions, they let the event be what it is, and then they decide how to respond based on reason. Practicing this doesn't make you weak, it makes you clearer. A good leader isn't someone who gets angry and blames others, but someone who can separate emotion from facts to make a sound decision. You can start with a simple exercise. Try to live one day without judging. Whenever you want to attach a label, pause and say to yourself, this is just an event. At the end of the day, write down how you feel in a journal. You'll realize that many things that used to make you angry no longer have the power to shake you. In Stoicism, there's a simple but powerful mantra. Don't rush to judge. Let the event be what it is. By practicing this every day, you are building the first sturdy wall to protect your mind from outside turmoil. From this foundation, you will have the stability to continue on the Stoic path, reaching true peace, tranquility, and freedom. 2. Control what you can. Let go of the rest. If stopping your judgments helps you release the burden of the external world, then this second principle will equip you with a solid shield to face the things you cannot change. Think about your daily frustrations. Don't they often come from things you can't control? A traffic jam that makes you late for an appointment, a manager's cold attitude, or a sudden rainstorm that ruins your outdoor plans. We spend too much energy getting angry, complaining, and worrying about things that are simply out of our hands. This is where Stoicism shines, helping you clearly distinguish between 2 circles of life. The first circle, things you can control. That includes your thoughts, your actions, your words, your attitude, and your own efforts. The second circle, things you can't control. That includes other people's opinions, the weather, the past, the future, and almost everything outside of you. A Stoic doesn't passively accept fate. Instead, they actively focus on what is their own. Instead of trying to change the rain, they'll bring an umbrella. Instead of getting upset about what someone said, they'll focus on how they respond to it. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, summarized this principle in an immortal quote. "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." So, how can you apply this yourself? The next time you feel worried or angry, try a small exercise. Imagine a circle in the palm of your hand that contains all the things you can control. Focus all your energy solely on that circle. As for everything else on the outside, no matter how frustrating it is, just let it go. Only when you master what is yours and what isn't can you be truly free. 3. Pause before you react. How many times have you regretted the words you said in the heat of anger? A thoughtless comment can ruin a relationship. An impulsive action can cost you respect, and a reckless reaction can lead to years of consequences. All because you didn't give yourself a moment to pause. Seneca once said, "The best remedy for anger is delay." Just a few seconds can turn the entire situation around. Because the real battlefield isn't in the exchange of words, but in the silence between the stimulus and your reaction. Whoever claims that silence wins the battle. Think of a familiar situation. You're driving, and another car suddenly cuts you off, almost causing an accident. In an instant, anger flares up, ready for a fight. You've reacted emotionally without giving your reason a single second to process. This is when we need one of the most powerful techniques in Stoicism: creating a pause. Instead of letting emotions lead, you actively stop. This pause might only last for 1 or 2 seconds. All it takes is a deep breath. It's in that precious moment that you sever the connection between the event and your unconscious reaction. This isn't just simple advice. Science has shown that a reaction made in anger is often the wrong one, because your primal brain, the limbic system, has overwhelmed your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex. When you create a pause, you allow the prefrontal cortex to regain control. So, how do you practice this? You can train yourself by taking a deep breath. This is the simplest way to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you calm down. Counting to 3, or 5, or 10. It's simply a moment for you to think. Asking yourself, what am I reacting to? Is this something I can control? When you master this pause, you will realize something miraculous. You are no longer a victim of your own emotions. You become their master. 4. Reframe criticism as a tool for growth. If you've mastered the first 3 principles, you'll have the resilience to face one of the most unpleasant things in life: criticism. Usually, when we're criticized, our instinctive reaction is to get defensive. We feel attacked, hurt, and immediately want to fight back or run away. Criticism is like a stone thrown into the calm lake of your soul, creating ripples of anger and self-doubt. But a Stoic sees things differently. To them, a criticism, no matter how harsh, cannot hurt you. Only what you think about it can. Epictetus had a great saying: if someone speaks ill of you, don't defend yourself against their accusations, but reply, "They did not know my other faults, or they would have spoken of those as well." This is an incredibly powerful perspective. Instead of viewing criticism as a personal attack, See it as a gift. It might not be a pretty or sweet gift, but it contains a valuable lesson. So, how do you change this perspective? Try a simple exercise. The next time you receive criticism, whether from a boss, a colleague, or a family member, ask yourself 2 questions. 1. Is this criticism true? If it is, you've found an opportunity for growth. Be grateful that someone pointed out a weakness for you to improve. 2. Is this criticism false? If it's not true, let it go. It's not a fact about you. It's just someone else's opinion, and you've already learned to let go of things you can't control in Principle 2. When you have enough calm and reason to analyze criticism, you'll turn it into a tool for self-improvement. It's no longer something that hurts you, but a stepping stone that helps you move forward. All the principles we've covered are directed toward a single goal: building inner peace. And for that peace to become a part of who you are, not just a theory, you need to practice it every day. That's exactly what the 5th principle will show you. 5. Build calm through daily practice. If you've made it this far, it means you've grasped the theory. You understand that you need to stop judging, let go of what you can't control, and learn to pause before you react. But all these principles will remain just theories if you don't turn them into action. Calmness and self-control aren't things you acquire overnight. They're like building muscle. You can't get a strong body from just one workout. You have to go to the gym every day, repeating exercises even when you feel tired or discouraged. Stoics believed that training the mind is a similar process. Seneca said, "Put yourself in difficult situations to train, and you will find them easier to deal with in reality." So, how can you train yourself to be calm? First, by practicing with the little things. Accept small annoyances. Getting stuck in traffic, being criticized, or dealing with a minor work issue. Instead of getting angry, try taking a deep breath and treating it as an exercise in emotional control. Tell yourself, this is just a small exercise. I've got this. Keep a Stoic journal. Every night, take a few minutes to review your day. How did you react to a difficult situation? Did you judge anyone? What did you manage to control? And what did you manage to let go of? This helps you identify areas for improvement and reinforce what you did well. Next, by anticipating and preparing. Premeditate evils. This might sound negative, but it's a powerful technique. Before walking into a meeting, imagine that your boss might criticize you, or a colleague might disagree with your idea. When you mentally prepare for these situations, you won't be caught off guard. This preparedness helps you face everything with a calm mindset. Calmness doesn't come from having no problems. It comes from having the right tools to face every problem. When you practice these habits daily, you're building a strong mind that can no longer be easily shaken by anyone or anything. 6. Respond with silence, not anger. You've learned how to stop judging, let go of what you can't control, and practice calmness every day. Now, we're going to equip you with one of the most powerful and effective weapons to deal with unpleasant situations: silence. When you're insulted, provoked, or facing an angry person, your instinctive reaction is to fight back. You feel like you have to say something to defend yourself, to prove you're right, to show them they're wrong. But think about it. Do those arguments ever truly end in victory? Both sides are left exhausted and angry, and the relationship is damaged. This is when silence becomes powerful. Silence isn't weakness or an admission of defeat. It's a deliberate response, a choice made with reason. When you respond with silence, you not only refuse to engage in a pointless battle, but you also strip the other person of their power. Their anger needs to be fed by your reaction, and when you remain silent, that fuel runs out. Remember the story of Seneca when he was attacked with harsh words? Instead of replying, he simply smiled and said, "I can only be harmed by myself." This isn't passivity, it's total self-mastery. When you are silent, you are telling yourself, "Their words don't define me. I will not let their emotions control me." You are showing that their words have no power over you and cannot shake the peace in your soul. So, how do you apply this power? When you're insulted, take a deep breath. Look the person in the eye and remain calm. You don't need to say anything. That pause is what creates power. When someone is angry, let them say their piece. You don't need to interrupt or justify yourself. Listening in silence doesn't mean you agree, but that you're allowing the storm to pass. Silence is a more powerful answer than 1,000 words. It proves that you cannot be swayed, that you are the master of yourself. 7. Drop resentment. Practice gratitude. You've reached the final stage of this journey. You've learned how to become the master of your emotions, no longer letting others' words hurt you. But there is one last burden, an invisible chain that still ties you down. Resentment. Resentment is like holding a hot coal in your hand, hoping to throw it at someone else. But you are the one who gets burned first, and most painfully. Resentment doesn't harm the other person, it just eats away at your soul, stealing your peace and happiness every day. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Letting go of resentment doesn't mean you're forgiving someone else's mistake. It means you're freeing yourself from the punishment you've been inflicting on yourself. This is a selfish act, done for your own benefit. So, how do you let go of this burden? By transforming resentment into gratitude. It might sound contradictory, but this is one of the most powerful methods. Think about the people who have hurt you. Perhaps they taught you a valuable lesson about resilience, about your own limits, or helped you realize who you should truly cherish. For example, if a former boss treated you poorly, instead of holding on to resentment, be grateful that the experience made you stronger, more independent, and helped you recognize your own worth. Every hardship, every challenge, is an opportunity for you to grow. When you truly let go of resentment and cultivate gratitude, you will achieve a state of true freedom. And at that point, you'll realize something magical. You'll never have to be angry or bothered by anyone again. You've now gone through 7 core principles of Stoic philosophy. We've learned how to stop judging others and simply observe events, control what we can and let go of the rest, pause before we react and master our emotions, reframe criticism as a tool for growth and learn from it, build calm through daily practice, respond with silence, not anger, and finally, drop resentment and cultivate gratitude. This is not a lesson to watch and forget. This is a lifelong journey of practice. If this video was meaningful to you, please take a moment to hit the like button and share it with someone you think needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue exploring profound lessons from Stoic philosophy with me. Leave a comment below and let me know which principle had the biggest impact on you. I'll read and reply to everyone. Remember this: you cannot control the world, but you can absolutely master your mind. And that's all you need to live a peaceful, unbothered life.